Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Callie,
Hey,
what's up? What's up, girl?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Long time no see.
I know. Really sad.
I know. Hopefully, I'll get to see you after quarantine.
I'm grateful for Zoom and
Yes.
technology.
Yes. Because without that, I don't know what we would have done.
BSOL. What are you wearing? What shirt are you wearing?
Can
What's
you hear
that
me?
shirt? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, uh-oh. Made in the made in the 90s.
Oh, cute.
I'm
Okay.
back at home, so that's why, you know,
Oh, nice.
different backdrop.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, welcome everybody to Be Great, Good to Great, where we're highlighting fantastic people to talk about their careers, their journeys, and to answer all your questions. So, please, this is made to be interactive. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, or there's like a little question thing at the bottom where you can ask it and we can pull it up. And yeah, I am so happy to introduce Miss Callie Frazier.
Hello.
Man, I've known Callie for over 20 years now.
20,
That's
yeah,
it's
about 20,
yeah.
21, 22 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very long time. We went to a place called Bible Baptist Christian Academy together when we were tots, and we also lived in the same neighborhood at the time.
Yes, yes.
Um, and yeah, now she is blazing her career trail in retail. So,
Yes.
Callie, without further ado, how about you introduce yourself, what you do, and yeah, where you're from?
Yeah, sure. Well, I want to say thank you for having me. This has been a
Of
cool
course.
opportunity and seeing all the other awesome entrepreneurs and business owners and real estate people. It's been really inspiring. So I am Callie. Yes, I am from Bolingbrook, Plainfield. That's where I grew up. Like Brittany said, we grew up together from elementary school, and then I went to University of Missouri, MIZ. Shout out to the people. Graduated there 2014, and I graduated with 2 degrees in communications and psychology. And my plan was to go back to grad school and study drug addiction. That was a big passion of mine at the time. I wanted to study relapse prevention, and I kind of wanted to help that those people who were in need of rehabilitation. So I was kind of looking at schools. I had a kind of a really hard senior year, just mentally and everything. So I just kind of needed a break from school. So actually, a good friend, Bria, she's on, I think.
Shout out,
She
Bree.
Bree, yes, she was working at a store called Buckle, and I was looking for a job. I just needed like a job, like a little filler job, and she had just got an internship there, or I think she got into the MT program there or something. And
Mm-hmm.
like, she was kind of reached out to me because I guess some people that she knew was looking for more people. So it was kind of by accident. She gave me the number of the place that she applied. It took me a while to apply. The manager at the time she called me probably like 4 or 5 times, and I was just like, I don't want to work in retail. Like, I really don't want to work like in retail. I have a college degree. I don't, like it was almost too good for me to work in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but she kept calling me, and I didn't have a job. I have no money. So, I kind of was like, let me go ahead and apply. So I applied at the place. It was the Fox Valley Mall in Aurora. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I interviewed there, and her name is Brianna. She's one of my biggest supporters and mentors. We'll talk about her a little later, but she interviewed me, and it went really well, I guess, because she hired me, and I was super excited. I talked to Bria, and she's like, "That's not the Buckle that I'm at," and I'm like, "You're not at that." We applied to 2 different Buckles, and I was like really upset. She applied to the Joliet Buckle. I applied to the to the Aurora Buckle, and she actually didn't end up staying that long, and it obviously worked out for the best. God kind of had his plan on that. So yeah, I did there, let's see, for 6 years. This July will be my 6th year, and
Congrats.
It's been awesome. It's been an awesome journey.
So then my first question then for you is, it's been 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Why are you still at Buckle? What keeps you there?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. I think what keeps me there, it's probably a lot of things. The first thing is the people. Buckle. I don't know if a lot of people, at least in our community, aren't super familiar with Buckle, but what we specialize in is stylizing and one-on-one, like personal stylizing for each person that comes into our store. We create relationships with every single guest. And I would say the relationships with the people have kept me there. I have had guests that have become really great friends of mine. I've had a lot of coworkers that have become very, 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 very great friends of mine. I think because Buckle is so focused on relationship building, it's definitely kept me there. I've been able to grow with the company. And so obviously for me, that was really important, to feel valuable in a company. I think growth is obviously so important. And so I was able to grow with the company, and the pay is great. So, I mean, those are all reasons why I've stayed, but really the relationships.
So how's your position kind of changed over the 6 years, and what you're doing from then to now?
Yeah. So when I first started, I got hired on as an assistant manager. So I was hired on as a manager position, and I told her, Brianna, like that was her name. I said, I'm only going to be here for a year. After that year, I'm going to grad school. So make sure you're looking for other people. I'll help hire, I told her, I told my, at the time, my area manager, Lenny, and now he's a district manager, and Cody. I told all these, the head honchos, I told them, look, I'm only here for a year. And my district manager, who's my district manager now, Lenny, he took me aside and he was just like, I know you have this other whole plan on your life, but this is just an opportunity. Like, use this opportunity as a stepping stone. You don't have to stay here forever, but like, use this. The door's open. You're good at what you do. You have a great personality. So I was able to become after that conversation, I got promoted to a manager in training. And that took about a year to kind of complete the process. There were some highs and lows, and then I put my name in for a couple stores, and it wasn't God's timing. My bosses were like, oh, you're not ready yet, so it took me about like a year in the MT program. Then I got promoted to my first store, and that was in Gurnee, Illinois. So that's when I moved up north. And I was there for a while. And then I had the opportunity to come back closer to home, which is what was very important to me and my family, my friends. Was able to get to go to the biggest store in Chicago and run that store. So that one is in Orland Park, and that's where I'm at now.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Big boss. And so,
in charge of a lot of people. Yeah.
Another question I have, and I think one thing you touched on, right? In retail, at first when you come in, it's like, oh, I'm only gonna be here for a year, right? Or when people think about a job at a store, they think, oh, I'm here in college, or it's like a short-term thing.
Sure.
How has this became like a long-term career for you? At what point in your career were you like, you know what? I am here for a year, but this is actually a great career. Even though I started off wanting to be in psychology and want to do some things around communications, I actually like retail. This is something I can see myself in for a few years.
Yeah, I think that that would be the best thing that that last thing that you said is like, can you see yourself doing this kind of long term? And I love to talk. I love to teach. I love to develop. I love to sell. I love making somebody that feels like a 2 that walks in our store leave like feel like a 10. I love the hugs that I get after helping guests. I love when teammates come to me with personal challenges and I'm able to give them advice, pray for them, talk to them. So I think the biggest thing is understanding that my career really is a part of all the things that I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to study and, you know, and do counseling. I wanted to do some type of communication, and all the things that I've learned throughout the years. I feel like God has led me to work in retail because it, as a manager, I mean, I sell clothes, I fold, you know, I do the fold things and all this other stuff, but there's so much more that goes into it. Like, you're dealing with people that change, that, you know, grow, that, and then you're dealing with guests and customers that are different people. And so I think the reason why I've been able to stay in for long is because it's just something that I enjoy doing, and I have a ton of passion in helping other people feel 100% better than when they walked into the store. Yeah.
I feel like that's you too. I feel like that's your spirit, right? Whenever even we hang out as friends and you come into places, you're like literally like when you walk in, the energy is just like from here to here, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's so important. I think it's important to have that energy. I am like known to, you know, turn up and like, make sure the smiles are on there. And I feel like that's what I love doing in my stores. That's what I love doing with my guests. And that's what I love doing with my team. So, yeah.
And so we got a question from my mom. She says, "How do you deal with the pressure of hitting sales goals?"
Yeah. Now that I would say that is that's kind of the fun part of being in sales. I would say if you don't like sales and like being in retail and being is just not for you. Like, you have to enjoy that pressure, you know? Um, I would say that question, I would say the first thing is just making sure you have supportive people around you. And my my district manager, you know, they always say, you know, if you hire the right people, you aren't going to have to work as hard because there's the right people right like next to you. And so I think having the right people that understand your vision is the first part into making sure that your sale goals are hit, because once you're able to teach them how to do what you want to do and they have a passion like you, your sales goals are going to be hit. Another thing in retail, like it goes up and down. So you have to stay persistent. You have to stay consistent, because it's not the sales game. You know, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. So if you ride those waves, you know, you are high on those highs and low on those lows, you're going to always be shifty in how you feel about the job, how you feel about yourself. And so biggest thing with sales is, especially when you're doing sales goals, you just want to stay consistent. Don't get too high, don't get too low, and you'll be able to ride out that wave. And then just making sure you have people that are pushing you. You have mentors that are better at things that you are? Are there people that are excelling in ways that you want to excel in? And I think also having that competitor spirit and having somebody there that's better than you that you can chase, I think is also a good way to stay on top of sales goals.
Awesome.
Those are important. That's where the money comes.
You said what is?
I said that's important, because that's where the money comes. You know, sales goals, you know, you make more money.
Yeah. And so you got a question from Sean. He said, "What struggles have you been through in your job that you have learned from and pushed you to be where you are at today?"
What struggles have I?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I would say there's a couple struggles. I would say the first one would be having flexibility to be able to enjoy your life. You know, as a manager, you're in charge of everything in the store. You're in charge of visuals. You're in charge of the hiring. You're in charge of obviously the sales aspect of the job. You're in charge of operations. You're in charge of making sure like if your toilet is not working in the back, like who do you talk to, you know, the logistics part. And so I think when I first started to manage, you know, I was younger. It was hard to juggle all of that and be in charge of all of that and still focus on the sales goals and things like that. So because, you know, I had to spend more time at the store, I was spending less time with my family, my friends, my boyfriend at the time, you know. And so that was really difficult. And I think the biggest solution to that was to find the right people, to have the people next to you. And I think that's just in life, like, you know, you know, find the right partner in life, find the right friends in your life, find the right coworkers, because you spend more time at work than you do with family and friends in pretty much in any job, you know. And so you want to make sure that you're enjoying the people and they're there for you. Another struggle, I think for me, the fashion part was kind of a struggle for me, and it sometimes still is. Like, I love to style. I think I'm pretty good at it. I love doing it for my guests. But I think in the beginning, that was something that was really hard for me. It was hard for me to get a grasp on like fashion, because I'm not really like a fashionista. I'm more, you know, I'm more of a communicator and things like that. I wasn't like known for, you know, fashion. So that was kind of hard. That was something that I was able to grasp pretty fast.
You got people in the comments saying Callie's a leader, dropping gems. Dr. Callie already using psychology.
Yes, that's good. This is water, by the way. Just like it's water.
Quarantine, so you know you can drink whatever you like in the comfort of your own home.
I have to have a water day because it's been real.
So Danny asked, "What's your outlook on the retail industry post-COVID?"
Oh, that's a great question, Danny. Hi, by the way. Oh yeah, so I think that obviously this has been an interesting time for retail because, you know, there are a lot of stores that aren't working right now. They're not operating, at least on a brick and mortar aspect. As far as an outlook on how it's going to be after, I personally think, and this is just me personally, I think it's probably going to be like a slower progression. I think so many people have been inside so much, shopping online like that I think people are going to want to shop in the store. I just think it's just going to look a little different. Like, I think, you know, before, you know, we never like sprayed down the fitting room doors and, you know, sanitized fitting rooms and stuff like that every time after a guest would go in or something. Like, I'm thinking there's going to be some type of like new procedures that we're going to do to make sure that our store and and I'm sure all the other stores around the country and all the retail places will make sure that people feel, you know, I guess more safe and, you know, in shopping inside. I would definitely think there's going to probably be a lot more like ship to store, pick up in store, like fast shopping. So like them still being able to come in, but it's already picked out, already bought, and we do all that at Buckle, which is awesome. Hopefully there's a lot more of guests being comfortable letting us just like send them stuff so they don't have to come into the store. And we do that all the way already right now. I think it's gonna just be I think it's actually gonna kind of be the same, but it's gonna take a little longer for it to get back to normal. That's but Buckle does a really great job of figuring it out and making sure, you know, at the end of the day, they protect the company and protect us as employees. So,
well, they got people like you, so that's.
They have a lot of people like me. Yes, they have great people in the company.
So another question is best advice for people leading a team.
Ooh, best advice. I would say the first thing that I would say would be to know your people, know what makes them happy, know what motivates them. That would be the first thing, you know things about them, know their birthdays, what candy they like, know, you know if they're having a bad day or good day, you know. I think just knowing who your people are is something that I have to do more and more. You know, in the beginning, was that type of manager who, like, I cared, but I didn't care that deeply about my people. And I think just making sure that your team knows that you care, they're going to work hard for. They might not believe in mission for your company or the mission for Buckle, but if they believe in you, then they'll exceed what you want. And then I also think another idea. Oh no, I think that's good. That's good. Know your people and servant leadership. You should be doing everything that you're asking them to do, and you should be doing it first and more often until they feel comfortable doing it. So, like, are you serving your team? Are you showing them what it means to be A, B, and C? Do they understand what that looks like? Do you need to do it a couple of times before they feel comfortable doing it? I think servant leadership and knowing your people would be some good start.
And then Camille said, "Hey, Callie Alley," that's A. And then she also asked you a question. She said, "Stores are losing so much. Do you think you'll stop doing big percentages off in certain holiday sales until this is kind of like evening out?"
I don't know. Buckle doesn't really. We don't really do a lot of. We actually don't ever do. We don't really do a ton of like 50% off of your whole entire store. We don't personally do that. We're able, because the healthiness of our company, we're able to sell most of our product full price. And so a lot of people think like, you guys don't ever have sales. And I'm like, you should be grateful that we don't have a lot of sales, because that tells you that our company is healthy and it's going to be around for the long term. Now we do a lot of things, like we have, loyalty programs, and we do discount, like, additional 50% off a sale, and 33% off a sale. We do all of that already. So I would say right now online, if you guys are all shopping, I'm sure everybody's shopping online right now. If you go online right now, everybody's doing like 50% off, 60% off, 30% off. So I would assume that stop. Because we need people to shop. I mean, at this time, we need people shopping. So I don't think it will stop. I think Buckle, we've done a couple of things on our line right now that we normally don't do. And I think that's just to get people to shop. Yeah.
Got it. And so you also got another comment saying, "I know some high-level executives that need to hear this." You go, girl.
Ooh! Thank you. Who was that? I don't know who that was. Was that my line sister?
It says Bree Lacoste.
Hey, Bree.
So another question too, you talked about the people that come into Buckle, right? Normally, even for me, right, I never think of Buckle as like a place that African American women go to. Whenever I think of Buckle, all I think of are Buckle jeans. So like, is that Buckle's brand, or like how are they trying to get in a more diverse, audience?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. I think it's a couple different things. So I think the first way that Buckle could be more proactive with that is just hiring more people of color. Like, obviously, a lot of my friends didn't know what Buckle was, and I, work at Buckle, and most of my network knows that I work at Buckle, and some of you guys have shopped with me, as well. And so I think it starts with like, you have to feel comfortable in spaces that you are shopping in. And when you're walking around the mall and there's a new store that you've never seen before, you look in and there's somebody that looks like you. There's an uncomfortability there where you may or may not go in, and if you do go in, it's still going to be uncomfortable that you might not want to go back. So the cool thing is I get to hire and everybody. I'm in charge of hiring. Me and my co-manager Christy, we hire in our store, and we hire. We can recruit anybody from anywhere, and so our goal is to just have like a diverse staff, so that anybody that walks into our location, they see themselves in our store. I think that we carry a lot of different brands as well. So I know you talked about jeans and things like that. And I think we carry so many more brands that a lot of people don't think we know we carry. From UGG to, we just started carrying Keds, to Birkenstocks, to Timberland, to, what else? I mean, we carry so many different, like, those are all shoe brands. Steve Madden, Madden Girl. So that the cool thing about our product is very diversified. I mean, we have product for literally everybody. Like, you want to be, if you're going to a country concert, we got you. If you're going to a Beyonce concert, we definitely have you. You know, if you're going on a date night, we have you. Like, we carry so many different brand styles and trends. One thing I think that Buckle is working on a lot better is, so Buckle never really did advertisement, like, in marketing. They were it was all word of mouth. Like, they were able to grow $1 billion business off of word of mouth, which means that their product was fantastic enough that people always would just be like, hey, did you go to like, go get your jeans, go get your jeans, go get this, go get that. So now that, you know, marketing is so important right now, they are now, you know, doing a lot better at marketing and marketing different people, different races, different age groups, like different body types. That's like my biggest passion. Obviously, I'm a curvy girl, and for me, that's like so important. Like, making sure that everybody knows, every curvy girl that comes to Buckle and Orland, like, they know that, like, I got jeans for them. And so that's so important, that people can shop in our store, and people know that they can shop in our store, no matter, you know, who they are, what, you know, what color they are, what size they are. Like, you could shop with me. You could shop with us.
Now we got another question from Sean. He said, in what ways does Buckle Corporate serve the Black and Brown community? Do they have goals toward this?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that I don't really know how to really answer that, other than saying, since I've started in Buckle 6 years ago, there's been a lot more African American managers that I've seen at manager meetings and things like that. It's been a lot more, you know, brown skinned ladies and men on buckle.com. Like, they're using people and they're using marketing to make our community feel a lot, you know, better in that space. But we have a lot of work to do. You know, I think that it's definitely something that I'm passionate about personally, and I know they're working hard to make sure that they're doing everything they can so that everybody is represented. And it's not just, you know, it's, you know, everybody. So it goes back to the product. It goes back to who we're hiring. I think that's such a big thing, because when you're hiring that person and you're hiring their network. So that is so important. You know, there's like somebody hired Bria, and then I was part of his network, and now I'm working at Buckle. There's so many stories like that around our company. So that's like the biggest thing, is like, who are you hiring in your stores? And you know, I care about making sure that we're hiring a diverse team, but I mean, they also need to have everything together. Like, first impressions are everything. You got to look the part. You have to be able to communicate fast. You have to be able to connect quickly. Like, I hire you because of those attributes as well. And so those all are important to making sure that everybody is represented.
Y'all got y'all pen and paper today, because these gems are being dropped. Bria said, as a store manager, how do you keep a balance between a personal life and a professional life?
Oh, yeah. So I think we talked about this before. That was one of the biggest difficult things about working at Buckle, was the balance. I'm trying to think of this analogy. I don't know if my district manager is watching, but he uses this. He's going to be mad that I can't remember the number. anyways, I'll talk about it maybe later if he drops if he knows what I'm talking about. But the biggest thing that I do, I think, is to hire the right people. If you hire the right people, you will be able to do whatever you want. You'll be able to have every day off that you want, take vacation that you want, do whatever you want. As long if you're planned and you hire the right people, you can do whatever you want. And so I think that is what we are continuing to learn and to work on is, I'm getting married this year, and hopefully we'll see. But I was getting married this year, and there were a lot of things that I needed off. I needed, bachelorette party and bridal showers, and there's like 3 or 4 other weddings happening this year too that I'm involved. So knowing that like a year in advance, that tells me that I need to hire people, leave. I feel really comfortable the store's getting ran, and that's how I stay back, is making sure I have the right people next to me.
Okay, we got a comment. I don't know what this is relating to, but they said 168 hours a week, sis. And one says multiply yourself, which
thank you. Who said that?
It was in the questions. I'll pop it. I'll pop it up.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Lenny. I said the wrong number. So basically what that means is 168 hours in a week. And when you break that down, like you spend about, 40 to 50 hours working, 45 hours working. You spend the same amount of 8 hours times 7, 56 hours sleeping. If you sleep like 7 hours, I don't know who's adding this up, Brittany. I don't have my phone, obviously, so I can't really add it up. But basically, after you subtract the necessities, you're sleeping, and you're working, you still have a good chunk of hours left. And so how are you prioritizing your time? Bria actually she's great at prioritizing her time. Gave me a couple tips. And so just making sure that you're staying organized and you're prioritizing what things are actually important to you. And then realizing that we do have a lot more time on our hands than what we think we do. 168 hours in a week. What are you going to do with those 168 hours?
Uh-oh.
A lot of time.
Another question on here. What's next for you in the career path at Buckle?
Okay, what's next for me? Right now, my goal is to, keep growing my store, keep hitting sales goals, obviously, and most importantly, recruiting and hiring top talented people to manage. We have one MT right now. Her name is Allie. She's amazing. Oh, she's so amazing. And I've trained her from day one. And I think that's like the best thing about my job is to invest in people and see them be able to, do the things that you've taught them and more, and so she's doing a phenomenal job right now. And my next, basically how you grow mostly with Buckle is you recruit and hire and train MTs, and they go out to manage. Then once you do that a couple of times, you're able to manage over them, so then you become their area manager. So that's kind of how it works, and then you become a district manager and so on and so forth. So our company only hires or promotes, like you can't be an area manager at American Eagle and then come to our company and be an area manager or even a manager. You have to be an MT first before you can even be a manager. So my goal is to just basically keep hiring and training managers, MTs, and then prayerfully I would be able to prove that I would have the ability to be their area manager. So that was my direct goal. Other goals that aren't necessarily in management, more in, campus recruiting or minority recruiting. Like that's something that I'm really passionate about. I don't know if I haven't really talked to anybody really about, you know, how I would be able to get more minorities to work at our company. But that's something that I'm super interested in figuring that out. Hopefully last. Go ahead. Are you
Can you hear
back?
me?
Am I back?
Yep. Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
And
Okay, good.
Kamaya said, speak positive. Yeah, she said, yeah, speak positively. You'll be getting married this year. Okay, she's speaking good things. And then Amber has a question for you. Amber said, what is your method for holding people accountable if they are not performing? Any success stories of developing someone in your team?
Yeah, I think one thing that my managers always tell me is when people are doing things, good or bad, they're doing them because either saw you do it or you allowed them to do it. And so I think that's the first thing I think about when accountability happens is if somebody's doing something that maybe is not the best, is they probably either saw me do it and that's giving them permission to do it, or I've allowed them to do it. I haven't coached them on anything. And so you have to look at yourself first. You gotta say, okay, somebody's teammate A is not showing denim, to any of the guests that are walking in. Denim is the thing that we want you to show to every guest because I'm allowing her not to show denim, or is it because she's seen me not do it a couple times and that's why she's doing it? I would say, yeah, checking yourself first and then asking them the question like, hey, I noticed that you ... Can you just talk to me about, why that's happening?
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you? How can I support you to make sure that we are both on the same page?
That was a great question too, Amber.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Your team, so letting them know you care. Hey, I care about your success and I want you to grow in this area. Like, but I'm noticing this. How can I help you? Mm-hmm. And then once it's happening more and more, then you can kind of just say, hey, I'm concerned. I'm getting a little concerned about this, that, and the other. Like, we would need to figure out, a way to figure that out.
And Steph said giving time frames on things always helps productivity.
Yes, that's the easiest way too. Like, time frames are awesome.
Kamaya said, what's the silliest thing you had to let someone go for?
Oh.
It gets juicy here.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say silly. I've had some serious situations. I don't think I've let anybody go for any silly reason. It's been more like those kind of reasons, like theft, somebody. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this. I'm not really sure, but
all right, we'll pass it. We'll pass it.
We'll pass that. I've had some interesting. Just text me if you want to know my stories.
Oh, that's a good segue, actually. How can people connect with you after this if they want to talk more about retail or opportunities at Buckle?
Yeah, all you have to do is you can follow me on Instagram and DM me, and I can definitely hit you up and talk to you about opportunities with retail if you have questions, or even if you're open to working with me or working in my company. I would love to talk about that for sure. You can DM me on here, and then I can give you my text. My phone number, Callie Frazier 92@gmail.com is my email address if you prefer to email me. I won't throw my phone number out there, but you guys can DM me. We'll chat after that.
Camille said contact her PR manager, which is her.
Oh yeah, obviously Camille, she handles all my bookings and appearances. Thank you.
So another question we had too is like, and one thing we talked about prior to this call is like the misconceptions of retail, right?
Yeah.
So what are some misconceptions that maybe you didn't know about until, now working and being kind of ingrained in it?
I would say the first one would be the pay. I think that's a big one. Like, I think when people think about retail, you don't really think about getting paid well. But with Buckle, we're probably one of the highest retail um, payers in the country. We have
Hmm.
the benefits in the country. I'll tell you that. With our benefits are fantastic. Um, and all of our teammates, it's also a commission based job as well. And so the cool thing is with that is there's no cap to that. And that's with managers as well. So I mean, you have to like the sales part of the job, and if you do, that's a Buckle would be a really good fit for you. I think pay is we get paid very well with Buckle, which is awesome. Another misconception, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I would say no growth opportunities is another one. I think people normally see it um, as a job that's for high schoolers or middle, like right out of college, and they don't really know the growth opportunities. And since our company only, promotes from within, it's really awesome. It doesn't get outsourced jobs. Like there's a lot of companies that like you could be working to, you know, um, be a manager or another manager, and somebody from another company will take that spot before you can even get to that spot, and it's just kind of like a slap in the face. So that's cool about our company. Taylor, I think I see flexible schedule. Yes, we have a really great schedule um, thing going on with that. Most of our leaders and managers get 2 weekends off a month, and in retail,
Wow.
weekends are like our money days. So that's awesome. But really, we really like to tailor our schedule to who we're hiring. So if you're great at what you do, we'll make the schedule work for you, and
Mhm.
we'll make it work for us and make it work for you. So I think flexible schedule is a big one as well.
What's the most rewarding part of your job?
The relationships, I think that's the best part of the job. Is I'm a people person. I love people. And that's why this quarantine is like literally driving me insane. Um, I'm a big people person. So those relationships that you create, whether it's with the guest, specifically with the team, and then also other managers around the company. We're all like a big family. Our region is dope. Um, we have like literally the dopest region. We're all fantastic. And we all support each other. It's nothing but love and support. Yeah, so it's definitely those relationships.
And then what do you think it takes to be in retail, right? Like if someone's preparing to come into a career similar to yours, what type of skills do you think that they need to possess?
I think the first thing is you have to be energetic. You have to like people. You have to have that charisma, that I don't know, that fun swagger. That is super important in retail. You have to be able to be a quick thinker and a quick mover. Like you literally physically are moving around a lot, and you're going to be dealing with all the types of people. So you have to be able to be a quick thinker um, to be able to navigate your different teammates, different guys, different problems that come up. You know, you might have $1,000 sale, 1 second, and then you have somebody steal something the next second, and then you have an interview that's waiting for you, and then you have to go on break for 15 minutes. Like there's so many things that are going on a day-to-day basis. You have to be a quick thinker, and then you have to be a great communicator. Obviously, everything that we do involves communicating.
Hmm.
Uh, Whether you're hiring, recruiting, stylizing a guest, coming up with a outfit idea for a whole family for a photo shoot. There's things that you just have to be able to communicate, and I would say those are the three big things.
And then Steph said, don't be afraid of the word no.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Steph, for saying that. She's one of our great managers out in Yorktown. She's awesome. If you got in that area, make sure you go visit her. Yes, you're, you're going to hear a no a lot more than yes. So your no needs to feel like your yes, basically.
Mm.
No, that means you're not doing your job correctly. Like, I think a guest probably says no to me like every 5 seconds, and then they still leave with a lot of things in their bag. So, how?
Amoko has a question. She says, with
Yeah.
everything that's going on in the world, how has that affected your work and the work of your employees?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely affected all of us. Right now, we are like a lot of companies. We are not working, and we are on furlough right now. So for the first 2 weeks, our company was able to pay us all of our employees, our part-time, full-time, everybody. Um, and the board of directors, they forego their salaries, and then after those
Mm.
first 2 weeks, they put everybody on furlough. um, so right now we're not working, but we still have a job. We still have a job when we come back. All of the employees that were currently employed with us, which is fantastic because there's a lot of places that are laying off people, which is really unfortunate. And they're also paying for our insurance and all of our benefits as well. So
Wow.
awesome. They're paying 100% of it. So we don't normally, they pay like a lot and we pay a little. Now they're all of it. So it's been, financially, it's still been pretty good. I mean, I think that we're doing okay. We're doing the best that we can, and prayerfully we can get back to work so that we can, you know, start making that money again.
So Ari said, what's the best way to handle conflict among employees?
Mm, that's a good question. I think the best way to handle conflict with employees, um, obviously you want to make sure that they both feel comfortable in the space that you're in. So if you're feeling like it's getting heated, that might you want things to not be as emotional as possible. So maybe pausing the conversation and waiting for until both parties are calmed down, I would say, is obviously important. Um, and then sometimes, I would say sometimes people feel comfortable talking, you just being the middleman and them talking to each other. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking to the other party. So I think the biggest thing is just understanding and figuring out what your teammates feel comfortable doing, what your employees
Mm.
feel comfortable doing. So I might go to this one person and just talk to them about their grievance or their challenges, and say, hey, how comfortable do you feel of all of us sitting down and talking? Let's maybe schedule a time to do that. And then I might go to the other person and do the same thing. And then normally it works out really well that way. And then sometimes I think a lot of times I don't necessarily have to be involved a lot, depending on who it is. Hey, do you feel comfortable, talking to so and so about how what she said made you feel? And they might say, yeah, I
Hmm.
feel comfortable talking to her about it. Awesome. Why don't you have that conversation with them, and then let's just talk about how that went. So I don't always have to be, sitting there. I'm working with grown adults, like,
Hmm.
so I don't want to like babysit that. At the same time, you want to make sure that everything is said appropriately and things like that. Yeah, I hope that answered your
Camille
question.
asks, can you give us your best pitch and how to turn that no into a yes?
I need like a role played scenario. I don't know. My best pitch, I think, the turn a no into a yes. You have to know your target, who you're talking to. You got to know what they like, what they want, and then figure out how to connect what they want to what you're trying to sell them. If that makes sense. So, like for
Hmm.
instance, let's say I have a guest that's shopping for jeans. She's shopping for jeans. She comes in shopping for jeans. She tells me she doesn't want anything else but jeans. So then my goal is to, number one, make sure we find her jeans. Like if I show her other things other than jeans, I'm not doing what she wants. So I find a couple of jeans that she likes. Then obviously my job is to complete the outfit. So I might grab shoes to go with the jeans. And then my power statement might say something simple like, hey, I know that you said you weren't looking for jeans today or shoes today, but I grabbed you your size in shoes to try it on with these jeans. I think they would work well. Plus, I don't know if you have something like this at home, but I wanted to give you some ideas. So when you do look for shoes, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
They put it on and then boom. Oh, I love these shoes. And then you kind of build it that way. So it's really just, hey, I know you said you weren't looking for this, but this. You have to give a why to why you're showing it and then acknowledge that maybe they didn't ask for it, but this is why I'm showing it to you. That works, I would say, 85% of the time. Actually.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of times on these lives, Callie, we kind of share any programs or opportunities or resources. So is there anything maybe that you've used that's helped you along your journey thus far that like people that on live or people that listen to this after can use or leverage?
Ooh. Most of the things that I've learned have come from other people or like our leadership manuals, and those unfortunately are not for the public. You guys have to work at Buckle to get those. So I would say just make sure that wherever you want to be in life, make sure you have that person in your life that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that would be your resource. Like if you want to be a marketing manager somewhere, then how many people do you have, in your friendship circle that are doing what you want to do?
There was a comment that said leadership-based books they have you read. Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
we do read a lot of books. That is, I forgot. Yeah, we do have a lot. Let me see. Let me go grab it real quick. Hold on. There's a book.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
I appreciate you guys' commentary too. This is definitely like making it, much easier to have the conversation. You guys have been asking like amazing questions. These are questions that I didn't even think about prior to this session. Uh-oh. Looks like it is paused. Thanks, Robin. Can you guys hear me still? Thumbs up or yes. I think maybe that was just Callie that had to leave the conversation. But let me know if you can hear me. And that will be amazing. She went to Okay, perfect. In the meantime, I hope you guys are learning a lot, even for me, in terms of developing teams and from what Callie said, right? When you think about retail, I was thinking about, definitely the misconceptions, and she was going to tell me more about the store. But the one thing that I keep forgetting is that being a manager is like universal, right? Like you have to deal with people day in, day out. You have to deal, and that comes into relationships, that comes into friendships, right? So being able to de-escalate situations, being able to assess a problem quickly, being able to think quickly on your feet and have a good attitude. I think these are things that she can bring into every scenario of her life, which is something that I've been kind of thinking about too while this interview is going on, saying, wow, look at all of these things that you're learning. And I can apply that to my job in consulting or my job as an entrepreneur. These are skills that will go everywhere, right? We'll see if Callie can join again, but the questions I did want to ask her is I know she has a very strong faith in God, and so how that has helped in retail. So if she joins again, then we'll get to ask her that, and then the ending question, which is who's being great in her life. And so we'll give her a minute or so, and I appreciate you all hanging in there while she gets her. I don't know if she's still getting the book or if she's coming back. Let me see. That's Callie. Let's see if it comes in. Thank you, Moko. I really appreciate it. And Danny, we'll see if it comes in. If there's any other questions you want to ask Callie, please just drop it in the comment section and let me know. If not, if she doesn't jump in in the next 5 minutes, IG Live is going to kick me out anyway. So no worries there. Also, if you have any questions in the future about other people coming on live, please just let me know. I'll respond to your DMs pretty quickly. Or if there's any questions that you have prior to sessions, I think I'm going to start that just so I'm asking more of what you want to hear rather than what's kind of going on up here in my brain, because it's meant to be informative and for everyone to get as much knowledge and gems as people drop. Right? Everybody has a purpose in this world. Everybody's playing their part, and we're blessed and grateful to be around those people, whether that's our friends, our family, or people we can just watch on YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever. Right? So being able to share these opportunities to have people stay connected, and giving that knowledge to somebody else, whether that's your aunt, your cousin, your friend, everything's I don't know, like a snowball effect, right? I'll tell, or Callie will tell something to me from this interview, and then I can tell someone else who can tell someone else, and that snowball gets bigger and bigger. And then especially in the African American community, once we can build that snowball, we can get up to times where we are able to create those opportunities for other people. We're able to be that person for them, so we don't need other things to help us get lifted up. We're already at that same playing field and same table, so that one day in the future, gender equality will be 50-50, right? We'll have the same opportunities. We'll be able to provide scholarships for everybody. We'll be able to just be on the same playing field, leading a lot of being the CEOs and being on these boards, right? Like I envision 10 years from now that there's going to be, I mean, even now, Black women entrepreneurs are taking over. But yeah, so I feel like Callie isn't probably coming back to the live, and let me stop ranting with you all. But I know if I ask her the question about who's being great in her life, I know she's going to shout out God first. God is always first in her life and probably in everyone's life, right? I know she's going to shout out our Girl Do Better podcast group. I'm sure everybody that is working with her at Buckle and those that have helped inspired her, I'm sure she's going to say that, like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely know she's going to shout out Harry, her fiance. He's been a constant supporter for her, and he's the MVP, and her family for sure too. And so I know I can't speak for Callie, but those are the people that I know off the top of my head that I'm sure she's surrounded by that like are definitely her constant support system. And thank you guys for joining. I'll definitely record this or save it and then upload it. And see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m. and have a wonderful hump day.